said they don't have any issue. May I approach?
Yep.
Agent Jarkian, I'm handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 3. Could you identify that, please? Court.
These are photographs that I had taken from the interior of the garage as well as the interior of the residence.
Okay, and do they fairly and accurately depict the things that you saw on that day on June 17th, 2013?
Yes.
When you went to Schoolhouse Road?
No, they have not.
And would they aid you in your testimony today, help illustrate your testimony today?
Yes.
We would ask that State's Exhibit number 3 be admitted into evidence.
No objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Motion to have it filed.
Your Honor, we'd ask for permission to publish it to the jury.
You want to use this?
Yes, sir. Agent Jarecki, if you could please identify that picture.
It's the interior of the garage, the two-car garage, taken from the driveway.
Okay, and that particular photograph, how is it labeled there in your packet?
48.
So photograph 48 of State's Exhibit number 3. And going briefly through again what you did upon arrival, if we could go to the next picture. Is that the Jeep that you referred to
Yes.
in your testimony, and that's in photograph number 49 in State's Exhibit number 3?
Yes.
And what is there underneath the Jeep?
It is the tan carpet rug that I had previously mentioned.
Okay, and you made some reference to a swab that you took of a suspected blood stain there in the garage. In reference to the Jeep, where was that?
It would be to the left of the Jeep, near the driver door, on the concrete flooring between that shelving unit.
And then just orienting us, there's a door there on the right-hand side. Where is that in terms of, is that the door into the house?
Yes, it is.
I believe we have marked as exhibit number 30 blood swab, and I'll introduce that in a few moments. If we could go to the next, if you would describe this picture.
It's the photo of the Jeep that's parked in the garage at a different angle. I'm standing near the interior door into the residence, and the photograph is of the front passenger corner area of the Jeep.
Okay, and is this photograph numbered in State's Exhibit number 3?
Yes, the number's 50.
Okay. And at this point, what exactly are you looking for in observing the Jeep?
At this point, I'm taking photographs of the Jeep in the scene prior to any movement examination. As I'm photographing, I'm examining the exterior of the vehicle for any form of evidence.
Was there anything that you did observe on the exterior of the vehicle?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and could you describe for us what those things were?
I observed various stains of suspected blood on the exterior of the vehicle, on the front engine grille area, as well as the front headlights, the front passenger door, the exterior of the rear passenger door, the rear passenger fender area, as well as the rear passenger tire.
And what, if anything, did you do upon observing these spots of suspected blood?
The stains were photographed with scale, again, the overall, and then a mid-range, and then a close-up of the stain in the location where I had observed it.
Okay. We could go to what's been marked as State's number 51 within State's Exhibit 3. I'm sorry, State's number 52 within State's Exhibit 3.
It's a photograph of, I had opened up the front passenger door, and I'm standing between the front passenger and the rear passenger door, and I'm taking a photograph of the interior of the front passenger area to include the door, the seat, as well as the floor and glove compartment.
And what was your purpose for looking inside the Jeep at this point?
To assess and observe any evidence that was found within the Jeep.
And I believe I may have given you the wrong number. Why don't you tell us what the number is on that photograph in State's Exhibit number 3?
It's number 51.
And looking at the next photograph, tell us what number that is.
It's number 52.
Okay, in State's Exhibit 3. And what is that a photograph of?
It's a photograph of the flooring between the front passenger seat and the front passenger door, and I had placed right here is that scaled sticker that I had previously mentioned. I had observed what appeared to be a stain of suspected blood on the flooring of that area.
Okay. And in addition, what is the purpose of putting a sticker like that on it?
It's in order to show the size of the stain or evidence in order to do a life-size or one-to-one development of that stain.
Is there anywhere else that you observed within the vehicle what appeared to be suspected blood?
I did. On the interior of the vehicle, I observed suspected blood stains on the front passenger floor area, the front passenger seat, the front passenger door, as well as on the exterior of the glove compartment, and on the driver's side as well as on the passenger side of the center console area, the rear passenger floor area, the steering wheel, and the flooring between the center console and the driver's seat.
And there in this photograph, number 52 in State's Exhibit number 3, are there other areas that you've mentioned or other areas of suspected blood that you observed?
Yes, there was a stain here, as well as a suspected blood stain, as well as on the front passenger floor area.
And there in the left-hand side of the photograph, what is that?
Right here is a seat belt that has also been stained with suspected blood.
What, if any, collection of swabs did
I did not collect any swabs from the vehicle.
Okay, and why would you not do that?
The investigation was going to be handled by Agent Thompson. She was the primary, and this vehicle was going to be towed to our facility on Hammond Road for further detailed examination of the exterior interior of the vehicle.
And tell us about, when you say our facility on Hammond Road, whose facility are you referring to?
It is the facility for County Bureau of Identification. It is a secured facility that requires a key card to access our garage area. The access is granted through a very tall chain link fence with barbed wire. And then in order to access the garage facility, we would require another, the same key card. And then we would be able to do further detailed examination there.
Okay, and what is the purpose or what benefit is there to transporting the vehicle to have it processed there?
We would be able to do the examination in a controlled environment and have access to all of our processing chemicals, powders, light sources, anything that is required in order to collect, document, and process the vehicle.
And so there at CCBI, is it akin to kind of a vehicle bay?
It is a vehicle bay, and we do have inside the garage is a another fencing that extends up to the height of the ceiling, and that is locked with a key and padlock with documentation as well.
And the purpose of all these locks and documentation for entrance and all of that is what?
It's to ensure that the evidence has not been tampered with, and that the evidence is present for examination.
Who's responsible for towing the vehicle, if you know, from a crime scene to CCBI?
I'm not familiar with that towing company right at this moment.
If I could ask you please to look at what should be the next picture. I believe it has been marked as number 53 within State's Exhibit number 3. Could you identify for us what that is?
It's a photograph of the interior of the front passenger door. Again, I have placed a scaled sticker in the area of the stain of suspected blood, and there's the green coloring, and then the black seal, and then the green coloring. That black seal is the interior weather stripping of the door.
And so when you open the door to get into the door, is this kind of where the door closes back?
Yes,
The bottom frame of the door, so to speak.
I believe so, yes.
And looking at number 54, it's been marked number 54 within State's Exhibit number 3. Is this a continuation of that?
It's another stain that had been observed on the interior of the front passenger door.
If I could turn your attention to the next photograph. Describe for us what this is.
It's the front passenger seat, and this side is going to be the side that is closest to the front passenger door. And this is the end of the seat, and here is what appeared to be a dried stain.
And is this been marked as photograph number 55 within?
Yes.
And when you say it appeared to be a dried stain, what gave you that impression, or why did you believe that to be the case?
The edging here is a little bit darker, as inside within the inside of it, as well as there had been what appeared to have been white lint on that area.
And drawing your attention to what appears to be kind of a dark area, maybe up in the right-hand side. Can you describe what that was?
Be a stain of suspected blood as well.
Turning your attention to the next photograph. 56 of State's Exhibit number 3.
Again,
Describe for us what's this.
again, it's another photograph of the front passenger, and in this photo, I'm focusing on the area, and again, you see there's a scaled sticker that I had placed in there, and just above the scaled sticker was what appeared to be a bone fragment.
At the next, is that the bone fragment that you mentioned?
Yes.
Did you do anything with that at that time?
No, it was photographed in situation.
You described it as a bone fragment. Did you notice anything else about it?
The bone fragment had appeared to have been stained with as well.
And were you ever determined when you say bone fragment, what did it appear to you?
It appeared to have been a hard material with jagged edging and with kind of like a white surface underneath that staining.
Other than taking photographs of the vehicle, did you remain there until the vehicle was removed?
I don't believe so, no.
Were there other people there at the scene that were responsible for maintaining the crime scene?
Yes, my supervisor as well as investigators from the Wake County Sheriff's Office.
Now, after you had finished photographing and examining the Jeep, I believe you mentioned that next y'all observed a trash can that was within the interior of the garage.
Correct.
Okay, if we could turn to the next photograph that's been marked, number 58, within State's Exhibit number 3. We're in connection to the door into the house was that garbage can.
The garbage can is to the left of that door that leads into the residence.
And why would y'all look inside of the garbage can?
For various possible evidence that had been placed in that container.
And looking at what's been marked as photo number 59 within State's Exhibit number 3, tell us what that is.
It's a photograph of the tall garbage can that is to the left of the door, and that is the photograph is taken before any movement or opening or removal of the garbage can.
What is it that appears to be on top of the garbage can?
It looks to be some clothing of some type.
In opening the garbage can, if I could turn your attention to what's been marked as number 60 within State's Exhibit 3. What is this a picture of?
It's a photograph of the interior of the garbage can with the various contents. You can see at the bottom section there are some food containers as well as various small garbage bags that are white in color.
And after opening the garbage can and taking those pictures, what did y'all do next?
The garbage bags were removed in series, one at a time, and each bag was opened and examined.
I could turn your attention to the next photograph, number 61. It's been marked number 61 within State's Exhibit number 3. What is this a picture of?
It's a photograph of a loose piece of ring with the clear stone that is on top of a garbage bag within the trash can.
And was that extracted from the garbage can?
Yes, it had been removed.
Okay, and what, if anything, did you do with that?
Once we had removed that one ring, we had found a secondary ring also with clear stone, and those two rings were photographed on scene.
Was the other ring found inside a bag, or how was it within the garbage can?
The two rings were in very close proximity to each other.
If I could, photograph number 62 within State's Exhibit number 3, would those be the rings
Yes.
as you testified to? And the picture here, it appears that the person who is holding those rings out may be wearing gloves. Is that part of y'all's process when you're trying to go through a crime scene like this?
Yes. During any examination of a crime scene, whether it's a larceny or a homicide, we are wearing gloves at all times.
I think you've testified to taking out the individual bags of garbage and beginning to go through them. If you would, tell us what the next photograph, I believe, marked as number 63 within State's Exhibit number 3. What is that a picture of?
It's a photograph of, we had opened one of the white plastic trash bags that had been found on top of garbage. We had opened a bag and photographed the bag prior to any further removal of those items.
And was there any particular rhyme or reason to what was in that bag?
There was prescribed medication and prescribed containers that were identified to Jose Perez.
And looking at what's been 64 within State's Exhibit, a photograph of some of the medications that you found.
Yes.
And what were some of those, if you know?
The box prescription container appears to be some form of...
In addition to prescribed to Mr. Perez, what other types of items were within that garbage can?
There is some paperwork that has been identified to Mr. Perez, and that some of the paperwork would be into the bottom left corner of the photograph.
And looking at what's been marked as picture number 65 or photograph number 65 within State's Exhibit number 3, were these items found within that same trash can?
Yes, they were.
And what do they appear to be?
They are various forms of identification, photo identification for Mr. Perez.
And there in the hand corner, tell us what those particular identifications are.
A social security card for Mr. Perez, as well as a military ID just below the social security number or social security card, as well as a driver's license underneath that military ID.
You've mentioned that there were multiple bags within the garbage can. Did y'all proceed to remove another one of the bags?
Yes.
And based on your memory, which bag or what, describe that bag for us.
I believe the next bag that had been removed was the large black garbage bag.
Looking at what's been marked as photograph number 66 within State's Exhibit number 3, do you recognize that?
Yes.
And is that the larger garbage bag?
Yes, it is.
Reference to, I believe you talked about it being double bagged at one point.
Yes.
In your testimony. Okay. Once you had removed this, what did you do with it?
Again, the bag is photographed. The contents are photographed in the bag prior to any further opening of the bag if required, or removing any of the contents from within.
And looking at what's been marked as photograph number 67 within State's Exhibit number 3, were these some of the items located within the bag?
Yes.
And what can you describe for us what those were?
On the top section here is a white cloth that had been stained with suspected blood. This here is a camouflage fabric wallet. Right here is another card with Mr. Perez's photo and identification. Here is an additional driver's license, state issued ID with photograph, name, and address. And then additional here is some more prescription medication.
And did you at some point remove that wallet out of the bag?
Yes.
What, if anything,
It appeared to have been stained with some suspected blood, as well as other items within that wallet.
Going to the next photograph, number 68, within State's Exhibit number 3. Can you describe for us what that is?
It's another photograph of the contents within that large black trash bag. Here are the vehicle floor mats. There is that wallet that I had just mentioned with additional prescription medication. And there is a box here. It's one half of a knife box.
They're kind of at the bottom of the picture, in the middle of the picture, underneath where the mat has been lifted up. Can you tell us what that is?
Here and here are additional white cloths or wipes that had also been stained with suspected blood.
And there in the center of those white cloths, what is that?
Right here is the Zap Stick stun gun that I had previously mentioned.
It seems like you've taken this bag out, laid it out, and are going through and photographing it. Is that kind of what the process is?
Correct.
Turning to photograph number 69 within State's Exhibit number 3. You previously mentioned a knife box. Is this a photograph of that same knife box?
Yes, it is. It's a closer up photograph of the knife box.
And looking at photograph number 70 within State's Exhibit number 3, is that another photograph?
Yes, it's another close-up photograph of the knife box as well within the bag.
What, if anything, did you notice about the knife box?
There had been stains of suspected blood on the exterior of that portion of the box, and the box was empty.
And what, if anything, did you do concerning the box?
The box had been packaged and labeled on scene.
If I may approach.
Yes, ma'am.
Agent Director, I'm handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 5. You can identify that for the court.
It has my item number 20, and the evidence description is one Rampage knife box. The CCBI case number is 13-4045, with the Sheriff's Office case number as 13-011102. The date is 6/17 of 2013 with an offense of homicide. The victim is Jose Perez. The address is Old Bayleaf Road and Durham Road, with the agent as Thompson.
And if I could approach. Agent Director, if I could have you open what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 5. Please identify that object for us.
The contents is the one half of the knife box, which is photographed here, as an addition to a secondary portion of a knife box.
And is it substantially similar to that you saw in that day, and has it been altered in any way?
It is similar of what I've collected, and it has appeared to have been processed through various methods.
Okay, when you say process, can you explain for us what that would be?
Once evidence is collected on scene, it is brought back to our lab in order to process for fingerprints, DNA, trace evidence, and such.
And was there another agent involved in that process?
Yes, Agent Thompson.
Your Honor, we would ask at this time that State's Exhibit number 5 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Left in addition to that slap.
Turning to what has been marked as photograph number 71. Could you tell us what this is?
It's a close-up photograph of the Zapstick gun that I had previously mentioned, still within the garbage bag atop the vehicle floor mats.
Once you had gone through that larger garbage bag, what did y'all do next?
Another garbage bag had been observed within that trash can, and again, the method of taking a photograph of that bag inside the trash can prior to removal, and then the bag was removed and examined as well.
And looking at photograph number 72 within State's Exhibit number 3, does that show other things that were remaining in the garbage can?
Yes.
Remove the bag. Looking at what's been marked as photograph number 73 in State's Exhibit number 3.
This is a photograph of a smaller Target shopping bag that had been placed in that trash can, and this bag had been opened. You can see that it's been tied up at the top, and we had opened the bag in the center of the bag, photographed the evidence in the bag prior to any examination.
And is that what is depicted by photograph number 74 within State's Exhibit number 3?
Yes.
And just describe for some of us, obviously we can see them on the screen there, but describe for some of us what some of the items were that you identified in that bag.
Here is another a photo ID of Mr. Perez, and it had been appeared to have been issued by the VA, and it had been attached to a lanyard or lanyards.
Subsequent to going through this bag, was there another bag in the garbage can that you all examined?
Yes, there was.
Okay. And describe that bag, if you would.
It was another large black plastic trash bag that had been placed within the trash container.
Okay. And what types of items did you find within that bag?
Various items of clothing.
Looking at what's been marked as photograph number 75 within State's Exhibit number 3, what is that a photograph of?
The contents of the previously mentioned trash bag of the clothing that had been removed from that bag.
And photograph number 76 in State's Exhibit number 3.
It's a photograph of jean denim shorts that have been stained with suspected blood, as well as additional clothing as well.
And the jean denim shorts, were you able to determine whether they were men's shorts, women's shorts?
They appeared to be female shorts, and they were an Old Navy Diva brand that was a size 12.
What, if anything, did you do with those shorts?
The shorts were photographed on scene as well as collected on scene.
And looking at what's been marked as photograph number 77 within State's Exhibit number 3, are these additional items that were in that second large black trash bag that you talked about?
Yes.
Okay, and if you could just kind of working your way around the photo from the left corner on around towards the bottom, if you would just briefly describe what some of those things were that you observed.
Here is what appeared to be like a white towel, and there are smaller white cloths that had been stained with the suspected blood. There are flip-flops in an animal print pattern. On the bottom here is a white belt with various holes. There's also a GPS within the belt area.
And I believe you mentioned earlier that you collected a number of items and described a number of items that you had collected. Are these some of the items that you collected?
Yes.
And again, the purpose for collecting them here was for what?
To return them back to CCBI for further examination and to allow the primary agent, Agent Thompson, to do her examination and documentation.
Looking at what's been marked as photograph number 78 within State's Exhibit number 3, can you identify for us what that is?
It's a black t-shirt that was also found within that trash bag, and that shirt had been collected and itemized as item 26, a black t-shirt, new Agenda brand, size large, which had also been stained with suspected blood.
Okay, and is that photograph number 78?
Yes.
Okay. Turning your attention to what's been marked as photograph number 79, once y'all have gone through those trash bags, did you continue to go through the garbage within the garbage can?
Yes.
Okay. And what, if anything, additional did you find in the garbage can that you collected?
I observed at the lower section of the garbage can another second half of a knife box.
And looking at photograph number 80, is that the same second half of a knife box?
Yes, it is.
What type of knife, if you can tell, is that?
It's labeled as a Rampage United Culture-y.
And the knife box, the blue knife box that we talked about previously, do you remember what kind of knife that was?
It was also a Rampage.
Looking at photograph number 81, and what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 3. Before you go to that, were you able to determine that the part of the knife box in photograph number 80 is a bottom to a knife box?
It appeared to be of a smaller size of a box.
And looking at what's been marked as photograph number 81,
It's another photograph of the interior contents of the garbage can, and here my supervisor is holding on to the Armor All container that was found within the trash can.
is that something that y'all collected as well?
Yes.
Okay. I believe you've testified that at this point you moved into the house. Is that accurate, to take photos and to just do a general observation of the house?
Yes.
Okay, if I could turn your attention to what's been marked as photograph number 82 within State's Exhibit number 3. If you can kind of walk us through where you would have entered into the house and what this area is.
Here is the interior door that leads out into the garage. Here is the kitchen dining area that I had mentioned, and at the lower section is the living room with a staircase leading up to the second floor.
What other rooms, if you remember, were located downstairs?
There was an office at the front, just to the right of the front door, and I believe the master bedroom was on the first floor as well.
And looking at what's been marked as photograph number 83 within State's Exhibit number 3, if you could identify what that is there.
This is the office that I had mentioned. Here is the front door, and I'm standing in the foyer area taking a photo of the office as an overall.
And photograph number 84 within State's Exhibit number 3, is that the same office?
Yes, it is.
And what materials or items did you observe there within that office?
A desk with various computer and paperwork.
And I'm not master bedroom downstairs based on your memory?
I believe it was on the first floor, yes.
At some point, did you go upstairs while you were in the house?
I did, yes.
And photograph number 85 within State's Exhibit number 3, is that the stairway up to the second floor of this house?
Yes, it is.
And looking at photograph number 86 in State's Exhibit number 3, can you identify for us what that is?
It's a photograph of the master bathroom, and I am standing inside the master bathroom taking a photograph, and in this area here is the master bedroom.
Okay, and based on your memory, you believe that was on the first floor?
I believe it was on the first floor, yes.
And if I could turn your attention to photograph number 87 within State's Exhibit number 3.
This is a photograph of a silver small trash can that was found within the master bathroom that had been photographed previously in the overall. This is a photograph of the contents of that small silver can.
And looking at photograph number 88, is that a closer up of that same garbage can?
Yes, it's a close-up of the contents.
And what, if anything, of interest did you find there?
There were various pieces of jewelry as well as challenge coins or coins that were associated with Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay. And looking at what's been marked as number 87, I believe, or 89, within State's Exhibit number 3, are these those coins that you mentioned?
Yes.
Anything other than challenge or Alcoholics Anonymous coins within that grouping that drew your attention?
There were various pieces of jewelry that I had also photographed as well.
Your Honor, if I may approach.
Yes,
You could please, Agent Drucke, identify for us what that is.
It is the Zapstick gun that had been removed from the garbage container.
Okay, and how can you identify it as such?
There is the description, one black in color stun gun Zapstick with the victim as Jose Perez, the address of 3301 Hammond Road, Agent Thompson, and with the Wake County Sheriff's Office Weaver.
Okay. And I believe you mentioned earlier that you had collected the Zapstick. At the time of collecting it, did you package it with another item?
Yes, I did.
And what item was that?
That would have been the knife box.
Okay, and at some point, to your knowledge, were those two things broken out for processing purposes?
Yes.
Okay, and if you would please open what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 6. We are done with the photographs. If you could, is that, if you would describe what that is?
It is the Zapstick gun that I had photographed on scene. It's a Zapstick 800 kV stun gun, and it had 2 small batteries within.
And is that the same or substantially similar condition as the Zapstick as you saw it on July 17th, 2015?
Yes.
Okay. Now I would ask at this time that State's Exhibit number 6 be admitted into evidence.
No,
Any objection?
no objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce the next slide.
And I would ask, Your Honor, that Agent Drackey be allowed to step down just to show the jury his absent.
She may do so. If you're on the back row and you want to stand and come closer, you may, but if you can see where you are, that's fine. If you have a question, you need to write it down and give it to the sheriff, and I'll take it up later with the lawyer. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our evening recess at this point. Every time that we're on a recess period, you leave your notes in your chairs. When you return tomorrow morning, they will be in your chairs. No one will read them. But during that evening recess period, did you not talk among yourselves about this case? Did you not talk to the parties, witnesses, or the lawyers about anything at all? Further, did you not to talk to anyone else, to allow anyone else to talk with you, to say anything in your presence about this case? If anyone communicates with you in any way, you need to let the sheriff know when you come in tomorrow morning. Don't do any individual research, investigation on your own about any issue touching on this trial. Stay away from computers in any form. Please don't go on Facebook or any of those kind of things and talk about this trial. That would be improper and not pretty. Avoid reading, watching, listening to accounts of this trial. Be extremely careful with that. And do not form or express opinion about this case during this time. With that, ladies and gentlemen, while everyone else can remain seated, I'm going to excuse the 13 of you and ask that you return and assemble in the jury room tomorrow morning at 9:30. That's your excuse.